Welcome to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with Rebecca Hall Gruyter. In our program each week, we provide the tools, ideas, and encouragement to help you move ahead on your journey, becoming a more powerful and impactful woman in your own life. Now here's your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter.
Welcome, everyone. I hope you're having a beautiful day. I'm honored to be connecting in with you as we touch in. This is the beginning of May, and in May, I really like to look at how can we thrive? How can we thrive, not just survive in life, really powerfully show up, share out our gifts and our talents and our abilities. And so today we have two amazing experts that are joining us to pour into us and really talk candidly about, midlife. How do we navigate those waters in a way that we're not just surviving, but thriving? What are things that are important to know about that? And in the world of publishing and sharing our message out there, what are things that are really important to be mindful of so that we can thrive and shine in that process? So it's going to be a beautiful show. We're thrilled to have you joining us. And I want you to take a moment and connect in. So let's take a breath together. I find as we transition from April into May, there can be this acceleration that takes place. And so I want to encourage us to be very purposeful and mindful today in our conversation, to be fully present. Because I know there is something here for you today by the very nature that you tuned in. You would not have tuned in and be listening at this very moment if there were not something here for you. So let's be willing to be fully present so we can receive everything that is here for each and every one of us today. Those of you who are driving, please stay safe. Keep both hands on the wheels, eyes open, no texting and driving, but a purposeful, inwardly tuning in and being present to receive. Those of you who are able to, I want to encourage you to put both feet on the floor. Feel it supporting you. Sit back in your chair. Feel that also holding and supporting and lifting you up. Put one hand on your heart, one hand on your head, bringing you all in. Mind, body, soul, and spirit. Take a breath in through your nose. Out through your mouth. Like through a straw. Close your eyes. You're absolutely safe. Those of you who are able to, keep breathing, or I hope all of us are able to, I should say, to keep breathing. This kind of breathing helps bring us present, brings oxygen to every cell in our body, which helps us have clarity in thinking and become centered and grounded and create space for us to receive information and insights that can be supportive to us. It also lowers stress levels, cortisol levels, as we bring oxygen in through our nose, expand our belly, and then out through our mouth, like through a straw. Beautiful. So as you're enjoying this breath and this pause and taking in all this beautiful oxygen into your cells of your body, I want you to take a moment and ask yourself, are you thriving? Like right now, this moment, do you feel like you are just thriving and excited and can't wait for what the next moment will bring? Or are you feeling perhaps a little bit sluggish or not quite sure of the next step, or there are some pressures? What's going on? Let's kind of tune in, check in, and see. And in that space, I want to ask you a question, heart to heart. Are you being who and how you want to be? Are you thriving? And if the answer is no, it's fine. There's no judgment or criticism, but awareness. So then a next great question is, what do you need to help you thrive? If you answered yes, and it's yes, I'm thriving, wonderful. What do you need to help you continue to thrive? What is it you need today that will encourage you, uplift you, support you to live in a powerful, empowered, and thriving way? What is it you need today? And are willing to receive, because you have choice. So what is it that you need and are willing to receive? I'm going to invite you to notice I haven't asked anything about how. I want to encourage you to actually be unattached to how. In fact, be looking forward with excitement to how that need can be met, being surprised. We're just looking at what is it that you need and are willing to receive. Beautiful. Receive that information. Come back into the room fully present. Another beautiful breath. Wonderful. Eyes open, alert, and take a moment to write down what it is that you need and are willing to receive. This helps you actually start to bring it into reality, getting out of thought, someday I want and need this, to actually starting to create it in the physical realm by writing it down. It also helps you keep it top of mind so we don't get distracted. We can glance down at our paper and we remember what it is that we need, and we're actively on the lookout for it and willing to receive. Beautiful. One more beautiful breath. And please note, you can take beautiful breaths throughout our time together and throughout the day. But that's the one that I'll be guiding us in. And we're going to go around our virtual room here and touch in with our experts and see what was laid on their heart when we took a moment to stop, pause, listen, and receive. So with that, Jill, I'd love to see what was placed on your heart.
Absolutely. Rebecca, first of all, I am just truly grateful for having a moment to be forced to slow down. I don't think I really realized how much I just needed a few minutes just to connect into my heart. So, thank you for that. I'm just in a very busy season of my life right now, and my oldest child is graduating high school in 28 days, but who's counting? And, we're just both feeling, a little anxious. We're both been a little emotional. And so although I share with him, the unknown is the exciting part of life, and my kids know I'm not afraid to try something new. In fact, it's where I thrive. But it's still definitely a time of mixed emotions. So I'm just happy to have this hour just to put everything else on hold and just truly be present with myself, with you, Dr. Cheryl, and your listeners. So thank you for that moment. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely. And thank you, Jill, for sharing, and know that we're lifting you up in this exciting time. But there is a lot of emotions. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
And how about you, Dr. Cheryl? What was laid on your heart?
I have this desire to always live by the ocean, and so this is the part where I so agree with Jill, is the ability to simply take a moment and ask that question so you can stick around long enough to hear the answer. And my body is always looking at the ability that water is very important to me. So taking the time to breathe and there's a huge smile on my face going, yeah, that's exactly what I want. So I don't know how it's going to happen, like you said, but being close to water and the ocean someday is in my future.
Ah, beautiful. We lift that up and that intention and look forward to how it will unfold and flow into your life. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
Pun intended, right?
Absolutely. And listeners, how about you? What was laid on your heart? Perhaps it is this desire and this need to just slow down a little bit and listen for the time that we have together. Perhaps one of the things that Jill shared or Dr. Cheryl shared added to what it is that you need and you feel being placed upon your heart. As we get ready to go to our first commercial break, here's how I want you to maximize and leverage this time. Resist the to-do list, running off and trying to carve things off the list. Instead, give yourself the gift of these 2 minutes to be present. We have beautiful commercials playing in the background with updates and things we want you to be aware of. But I want you to also use this time to listen to what's being spoken into your heart and spirit. Give yourself time to actually listen and process on a cellular level. And with that, we'll look forward to talking to you in just 2 minutes.
Be sure to friend us on Facebook. You can do it right now. Visit facebook.com/Voice America or search for us at keyword Voice America.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
Get Unchained. Tune in every Monday for Jane Unchained on the Voice America Influencers channel, featuring nationally recognized best-selling author, TV journalist, and social media influencer Jane Velez Mitchell. This program takes you inside a trending lifestyle that's the next wave of human evolution. It all starts on your plate. If you want to revolutionize your life, get happier, more energized, then discover the secret. Tune in to Jane Unchained Mondays at 10 a.m. Pacific Time and 1 p.m. Eastern Time on the Voice America Influencers channel.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at speakertalentsearch.com. That's speakertalentsearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
Have you had a chance to check out Voice America's online magazine and blog? If you love our hosts and shows, check out articles that give an even deeper perspective, plus topics about health and fitness, movie reviews, philosophy, business tips and tactics, spirituality, positive thought, current events, and even more about your favorite host. It's just a click away at blog.voiceamerica.com. That's blog.voiceamerica.com. The Voice America Press Blog. All access, all the time. We don't follow, we lead. Join us, the Voice America Influencers Channel.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-866-472-5795. That's 1-866-472-5795. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes, that you gave yourself the opportunity to be present, to slow down a little bit and receive what's being poured into your heart and into your spirit. And perhaps it's just taking a moment for you to stop, pause, and breathe while being present. Beautiful. We're thrilled to have you joining us as we're talking about thriving in our life, and we're really paying attention to what it is that we need to help us move forward and show up powerfully. Our amazing expert you heard from A Heart Place earlier in our show, and I wanted to share a little more formally some of Jill's background. So Jill Lebofsky is a Midlife Mojo Master Coach, best-selling author, Midlife Mojo expert that leads retreats, special events, and her powerful Facebook community. She is passionate about helping you live a life that is happy, healthy, passion-filled, and empowered. Please lean in and warmly welcome the fabulous and powerful Jill Lebofsky. Welcome!
Yay! Thank you. Very, very excited to be here and talking with you, Rebecca, for sure.
Oh, you're welcome. And yay, I celebrate as well. Love having you join us. And I'm excited to talk with you about midlife because this is an area that people define in different ways. And I think there's a lot of myths and misunderstandings. And you have a really beautiful and powerful perspective and information and tools that can help people thrive, not just kind of get through and survive. So I'd love for you to share a little bit about why this work of helping women in particular really live passion-filled, happy, healthy, and empowered midlives. Can you share a little bit about why that's personally so important to you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Honestly, it's walking in my clients' shoes that really got me just really wanting to focus on this population of women. The majority of my clients over the years just happen to have been, 50 and older, probably because I live in South Florida. But I've listened to their struggles with their bodies and their hormones as they go through both peri and post-menopause, the struggles they've had maybe in their marriage or with their kids, like myself becoming empty nesters, and just feeling inadequate and lonely. And this word kept coming up over and over again, invisible. But it wasn't until I myself entered my mid-40s about 5 years ago where I really got it. Like I really finally understood where they were coming from when I started to myself experience some of those issues that they had been talking about. I started noticing like changes in my moods. I started putting on weight for the first time in years and just not being my usual happy, bubbly self, And I just started doing more research and looking for resources that supported midlife women using natural solutions. Mm-hmm. And, I was sad to say, but surprised that there's just not a lot out there. It's easy for people to feel forgotten and invisible and purposeless in a society that celebrates youth and beauty. So I've just kind of made it my mission to help these women find their midlife mojo.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And I appreciate that because to me, I think it's really powerful, the leadership that you exhibited in that too. So in this time where you were feeling some of those things, invisible, or your energy wasn't where you were accustomed to being, and recognizing like you, that you went on a mission to find information. And when you didn't find it in a way that was supportive to you, you went and created it. And now you're bringing that to others. And I think that's really powerful and beautiful. And I celebrate the work that you do.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, before we go too far into the conversation, I want to make sure we're all on the same page about when we're saying midlife, what do we mean by the midlife women?
So it kind of, there's a little bit of, I'm typically talking about 45 to about 60. That's kind of 40 to 60, not generally 40 to 70. But I tend that mostly my clients are that 45 to 60 age. Yeah.
Okay. And there are just transitions that they're going through in their body and lives, it sounds like, that are that are common to that group. Is that a fair statement? Or how would you?
Absolutely. Okay. No, I think that there's just definitely some different, challenges that this group specifically has as compared to some of our younger counterparts or our male counterparts. Specifically, we've got things like where we enter menopause, which really throws a lot of things, our hormones and our whole world up in a, going crazy. And that's why I actually wrote a book called No Sweat, It's Just Menopause, Eating Exercise and Essential Oils for a Healthy Change. So I could just offer these natural solutions for people, things like that stubborn weight gain that won't budge, or lack of libido, or hot flashes. Yeah. But, Rebecca, these hormones that, they definitely play a role, but I honestly believe that there's something much deeper than that, something a little bit less tangible that are really affecting women at this age, and that's kind of where my heart goes, and that we've been putting ourselves last, behind our kids, our husbands, our parents, everybody. And many women have just lost their spark, and they just have no idea where to reignite that inner fire. Society itself, they kind of
Well, I just want to dig into that a little bit because I think there are a lot of myths and misunderstandings around the things that are faced. So I like that you're bringing attention to, yes, hormones play a part, but that's not all of the challenge that women in this age group may be facing. So what would you say the biggest challenge is that women are facing? So hormones are playing a part, but what is if you were to summarize it, is it that putting themselves last, or what would you say is the biggest challenge they're facing?
I would think that it's not really knowing themselves anymore, and that like I said, society has kind of made us out to be these fat, frumpy, angry, sexless women, and there's not a lot of role models, positive role models who are 50 and up, although that is changing. So I think that there's no one to really look to, or and so forth. And I just have a lot of friends and people who have lost confidence in themselves as they've gotten older, as their body has changed. It's affected them at home. It's affected them at work. Myself, I talk a lot about, affecting the people in the bedroom. And, there's over a quarter of women out there, over 50, who are in sexless marriages, meaning basically they're having sex less than 10 times a year. And I have friends and clients who have told me that they've just resigned themselves to being overweight, not having sex with their partner, and they're fine with it. I'm just like, what? Like, not me. I'm not ready yet to pull up the rocking chair and snooze, through the best years of my life. So I think that we're sometimes our own worst enemy.
Well, and I like this concept of you just said these best years of your life. Like, that's a total reframe from some of how people are defining or looking at midlife. So I'd like to see if you have, what is this image that you want to bring forward? You said some of that is shifting and changing, but if you could create a picture of a thriving midlife woman, what is that image? What does it look like? What does that woman look like and feel like? How would they recognize their thriving midlife self?
Well, Rebecca, I think about this often because the thriving vision I have for all midlife women is the vision I have for myself, of course. And it's the vision that I know you have for all women because it's in the title of your show, and that's basically that word, empowered. And I think of being empowered and being in charge of your life, both physically and emotionally. So when I think of this midlife woman living her best life, I see her beaming with self-pride and confidence. She's at peace with her body. She's healthy and fit and just happy with that person she sees in the mirror. This woman is feeling sexy, desirable, and hopefully having lots of hot sex with her mate, like when they first got married. She's actively learning new things, seeking out new experiences, and hopefully following a dream that maybe she put on that back burner years ago, or chasing a new one that's filling her with excitement, and just sharing the gift that all of these years and all of her life experience have taught her. And that people notice her, that she's not invisible anymore. Instead, she's, invincible. Like, she's found her midlife mojo.
Love it.
That's my business. Yeah. No, I love the name of my business. Beautiful. I think it really strikes it, it's a bright chord.
Beautiful. So let's take a moment, listeners. I want you to think about some of what Jill has shared with us, and that kind of, if we perhaps want to look at shifting our perspective a little bit of how we may be looking at midlife, and how do we want to start visualizing that? Who do we want to become? How do we want to be? Not maybe what we've been or what we've been thinking or how we've been looking at that, or perhaps we have that mojo and we're feeling powerful and empowered. How do we keep that going? How do we keep being all that we are and bring that forward? Take a moment just to kind of stop, pause, and feel into that. See where you are. See what dynamic, what element you want to add to your vision as a midlife woman that you're wanting to bring forward. Perhaps you know a midlife woman in your life. Maybe you're not that midlife woman, but you know a midlife woman. And what is something beautiful you can share and powerful you can share with another? Take a moment, just kind of feel in. Beautiful. And Jill, I wanted to see, as we're kind of feeling into this, what is a specific suggestion, tip, or idea that can help a woman go from just kind of surviving in this space and time to thriving, really tapping into that mojo, being all they can be and thriving?
And that's so much what I want for every woman. And I have, two, real big ones that have changed my life in recent years. And they were kind of my tools. You mentioned tools earlier, kind of in your toolbox. And that's, intermittent fasting and essential oils. I'm actually in the process of writing my second book on this topic out in July, because it's really just been such an incredible life changer for me over the past couple of years. And so many women, are just dealing, the number one killer of women over 50 is heart disease. And so much of that has been tied into a lot of the toxins and products and chemicals that we're exposed to. And I don't know if you know this, but it takes only 22 seconds from when you inhale an essential oil till it really hits the emotional center of your brain and starts to affect you. And so I feel like when we're emotionally imbalanced and we're feeling physically good, then we're going to make healthier choices. We're going to make those choices that do empower us and move us forward in life. And I don't know how much you or your listeners know about intermittent fasting. Sometimes that word scares people, but it's not about not eating. It's really about, from me, how I teach it, about taking control not only over your palate but really over your life. And it's pretty much a very simple 16 hours you eat, 8 hours 16 hours you fast, 8 hours you eat. And obviously there's a lot more into it, to that. But what I'm finding that I am enjoying so much seeing from my clients' results is the comments that I'm getting a month later about how they feel like they're in charge of their body. Many of them have used that exact word to me, empowered, to describe what intermittent fasting has done for them. They've gotten their spouses on board, which isn't always easy to do, so they're getting healthy together. And and that's what we kind of want. As midlife, our kids have left, so we want to find things that, bond us even more to our spouse. And so, and then, of course, we just lose that midlife middle, which is great. So.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. So essential oils, and that's a great piece of advice or information, I should say, to know that in 22 seconds, it can so powerfully get into your system in such a positive way, uplifting and balancing. And then how intermittent fasting is a powerful tool that supported you and many that you work with to really take control of the body back and move it forward in a powerful way. So thank you for sharing. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And listeners, as we get ready to go to our next commercial break, I want to give you these 2 minutes to stop, pause, breathe, and integrate. Some of the best advice my grandma gave me growing up, and in my early 20s, I wasn't very good at listening to it. But as I went along, I found great wisdom in her words, and that was to give ourselves time to stop, pause, and integrate things on a cellular level. And those highs in life and those lows in life, in the transitions, there's such importance in remembering to stop and pause and listen on a cellular level. Give ourselves time to integrate, listen, process. We're really good at doing. We sometimes forget to stop, listen, and process. So I want to encourage you in these next 2 minutes to think about some of what Jill has said, what's been spoken into your heart and spirit, and give yourself an opportunity to stop, pause, and integrate. At the end of the show, we're going to let you know how to access and connect with our clients. So just know not our clients, our guests on our show, so that you can have the same type of access I do. So just know you'll get that towards the end of the show. But these next 2 minutes are just for you. We'll look forward to talking to you in 2 minutes.
Think you've seen everything there is to see in online television? Let us surprise you. Visit voiceamerica.tv today for sports, health, business, and more on demand 24/7.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at SpeakerTalentSearch.com. That's SpeakerTalentSearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
Sustainable success is just around the corner. If you are an entrepreneur, business leader, or anybody looking for their next level of success, tune into Sustainable Success with host Chris Salem. Did you know that the path to success is a long path that started many years ago? The path you started on then determines what is happening now. Chris and his amazing guests in their field will help you navigate the path to sustainable success every Thursday at 12 noon Eastern Time and 9 a.m. Pacific on the Voice America Influencers Channel.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
Tune in to the Voice America Variety channel on the Voice America Talk Radio Network. Voice America Variety broadcasts a diverse array of topics, reaching a global community. Our experts come from all walks of life, and the topics they discuss are everything from current events, arts and entertainment, leadership, parenting, relationships, self-improvement, career advice, and a variety of other topics. Check us out today. You're sure to find something of interest. Voice America Variety. Talk on today's hot topics.
Change starts here. Change starts now. Join us, the Voice America Influencers Channel.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-866-472-5795. That's 1-866-472-5795. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes and had an opportunity to just listen and really see what's being poured into your heart and your spirit about adding to that conversation. So I want to go back to what we talked about in the beginning. What is it that you need and are willing to receive? What insight has been added to that conversation during our time together so far? And what else is it that you need? Kind of remember what it is you need to keep it top of mind as we continue our conversation. Wonderful. So our next guest is a good friend of mine, and as a host as well and colleague, and I just love her. So I'm excited to introduce you to Dr. Cheryl Lentz. She is an international best-selling author, keynote speaker, podcast host, and founder of the Refractive Thinker, 16-time award-winning doctoral series, and university professor and publisher. She's absolutely passionate about helping particularly scholars, doctoral scholars, the research that they do, have that not just go on a shelf somewhere, but actually be out in the world helping change the world. She's passionate about getting the messages out there, getting the latest research out there so that we can bring that to companies and organizations and individuals that need it most. Please lean in and warmly welcome the powerful Dr. Cheryl Lentz. Welcome!
Hello, Rebecca. Oh my gosh, it is so wonderful to be on your show again, and I am thrilled to be able to look at this topic in particular because I know this is the idea of just not hanging out, just not making it good. We want it better. We want it awesome, and these are some of the things we're really passionate about, so I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
You are welcome. Thrilled to have you. And I know one of the phrases, you even said this just recently behind the scenes, was go big or go home. That's you. You're always wanting to, take it to that next level. What is your heart? How can we move that forward? And I think that's really beautiful about you, and that you embrace that in how you live your life. So thank you for being you.
Well, part of that is the ability to not have any regrets. And I've talked about this often. You'll hear this. Mm-hmm. Most people don't regret what they did. They regret what they didn't do. And I'm all about doing those things that you always thought about, not wished about. And I'm all about the, maybe a little naive, but I was told that you can have anything you wish for, anything your heart desires, and that makes action. And you preach that yourself. And so part of it is that go big or go home. Don't settle. And I love Jill's amazing opportunities of being able to, just because we're getting older means we're getting better. Not that we have to settle with things as our bodies change, as our mind shifts. It's all about what can we do within the new boundaries, the new normal, and still go out and rock it. And I think this is an amazing opportunity to do that.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing, and I embrace that. We want to go rock it. That'll be our new definition of thriving. Love it. Beautiful. Now, I know you have a heart for doctoral studies and bringing that research forward, and you've created this amazing anthology series called The Refractive Thinker. I'd love for you to share a little bit about what that is and why that's personally so important to you.
I think it's amazing because of what it takes a long time to grow a doctoral scholar, so to speak. We know that it takes a village to raise a child. Well, it takes a huge community to spend all of these resources to be able to graduate someone that does this. But it's frustrating, and that's why I created my company, because when I graduated more than a few decades ago, that it was gee, there has to be something more. One of my professors told me, if not you, then who? If not now, then when? And so I wanted to help doctoral scholars get that research off the coffee table, get it out of academia, but to put it in a format that's going to be far more accessible, digestible, usable. And that's where the Refractive Thinker series was born. And so when doctoral scholars will do a dissertation, it can be hundreds of pages. One of my recent graduates is going to be 676 pages, and very few people want to go through all of that. It's very heavy. It's very academic. It's very formulaic. But we want to still benefit from what they found. So we created the Refractive Thinker to put it in an executive summary in 10 to 12 pages that you can put it in very briefly, very succinct terms. What did you find? Why do we care? And how does it benefit the world? And this is really being very exciting for a lot of scholars, and now more than 170 around the world, to be able to share their findings, and people are reading it, and it's crossing that gate so that it's not getting lost in academia, but it's finding the hands and hearts of people who actually need it. And I'm so excited about it.
I love it. Congratulations on all of your awards. Now, I believe it's more than 16 now. Is that correct?
We did. About 2 weeks ago, we pulled another one, a gold medal with the Elite Awards. So, yes, the series itself has 17, and my company has 19. So here's the double digits. I'm here in 20 in my future.
Beautiful, beautiful. And do you mind sharing, just to give our listeners a feel that may not be familiar with your series, what are some of the subject areas that you've covered? I know you've got one coming up later this year, and you had one released earlier this year.
Correct. We'll start backwards. The one that's going to be published August 1st will be about culture and global culture, the impact of global employees. We're no longer constrained by geography and having to work where the building's physically located. That one was going to be written by Brian Smith, who is the billionaire founder of Ugg Boots, is writing it forward. I'm really excited about that because it's really a commentary on research on the changing world that we have, and international boundaries no longer really exist anymore. The one that we just had released was Generations, the uniqueness of having more than 5 generations in the workforce, and the research related to how do we all play nice in the sandbox when there's more decades sometimes between us than among us. And so this is really helpful. And we've done women in leadership. We've done cybersecurity. We've done a special one for the military defense. We've done healthcare. It has really been miraculous. And again, our goal has always been to how do we connect academia with the business owners. The business owners need the research. The academics are doing it. I'm trying to build the bridge so that the East can meet West, and they can handshake and meet in the middle and actually benefit from all the years of doctoral research and scholarly investigation that we do.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing and giving us a feel of the scope of the series and what you've been able to bring forward and celebrate that bridge that you've created and built. And I hope everyone caught that date, August 1st. Make sure to put that on the calendar because I know when you release a book, you do a special introductory rate that first 24 to 48 hours. So.
We do, and we make a big splash because we want to go big or go home.
Exactly. Walking the talk. I love it. Beautiful. Well, I'd like to, now that we've shared a little bit of what the Refractive Thinker series is and some of that work, and you have a number of books that you've brought forward personally that you've helped both from the anthology series, the Refractive Thinker series, to individual books that you've been part of or you've brought forward. So lots of in-depth experience in working with authors. And I know that you feel it's really important when bringing a book forward that there is a focus on personal brand. That's important when you're looking at bringing a book forward, whether it's a chapter in an anthology or it's a solo book, your own book that you're bringing forward. That brand, your personal brand, is important to having that book serve and thrive out there in the world. Can you share a little bit about that?
Absolutely. This is probably what sets me a little bit apart from many, is that professor part of me. I'll be teaching almost 20 years next year, or I will be 20 years next year. And part of our idea is looking at, starting at the end, where do you want to be when you're all grown up? That personal brand, the benefits that you bring to others. That's really what brand means. And so when you're looking at doing a speech, publishing a book, presenting at a conference, whatever it is that's going to be on there, whether it's social media, whether it's major media, the idea is, what are the benefits that you offer? And the best advice I ever had was from one of my business coaches years ago, and she said, be the solution that your customer wants. And I thought that was profound in the fact that I don't write a book and I don't go to a conference without having the end in mind and being a solution to someone else's problems. You can, because there's only two options in marketing you have. Either you can fulfill a need or create a need. It's always easier to look at what solutions are already needed, because then your clients are already looking for you. And that's all about personal branding, is to be relevant, not only to look at what you want to put out with the universe, but what the universe needs from you to put out because of your expertise. And I think that difference is huge.
No, thank you for sharing that. And I feel like this concept applies to anything that you're writing and bringing forward, but actually it's a way of life. So if we're tying this back to thriving, what is it that we're wanting to see in the world? Are we part of that? Are we becoming that? Are we being that in the world? Do we have that end in mind? Or are we just kind of going hoping that something shifts? But we can really step into bringing it forward very proactively.
Well, I think Jill hit it right on the head when we're looking, particularly in the midlife crisis area or just midlife. We've been doing this a while, whatever this is. And some tend to look at, is there more? How do we get excited about something we've been doing for 20 or 30 years? Because many find themselves that, I'm doing this, but I don't love it anymore. I don't have that passion anymore. And sometimes it's a courage to go out and rebrand yourself. What do you really want? And then dig deeper. What do you really, really, really want? It's kind of how you started the segment. And some of us, when we get in that route, we've been doing it for 20 or 30 years, we kind of forget and don't give ourselves permission to say, okay, you know what, I've done this for 20 years, let's go find something else. Many of us think that how we've established a career is the only option we have, and I want to be able to give people that power. If you want to write a book, write a book. If you want to go ride a sailboat, ride a sailboat. If you want to go to Mars, go to Mars. Don't have any regrets when it's time to have game over, because, again, you'll regret more what you didn't do. And I'd rather fail in taking a chance and do something and get close than never take a chance at all and always wonder what if. I want to wonder why not.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I want to give everyone a moment to just take that in. Take a breath together. Beautiful. And in this space, as we're looking at that, what is one thing we can focus on or we can shift that can help us move into move into taking that chance, moving forward, stepping out of I wonder if to doing it, making it happen? What's the one thing we can do to help us shift into that place? I call that place of success, that we are bringing forward, taking steps on those things that matter most to us.
My answer is probably going to surprise you, but it's what everyone has been doing since they have been on the air with us this morning, is to listen. Instead of listening without, meaning to the external world, to your bosses, your kids, the world, take time, like we're doing here today, to lean in and be quiet and listen within. You already have all the answers within you, believe it or not. Many of us don't trust ourselves, don't listen to that inner voice. We often dismiss it because we're too busy doing, instead of taking the time for being. And sometimes when we listen to that being part of us, the answers will come, and we just have to go, oh, and you'll get that happiness and that joy when you're like, yeah, just like my comment about I want to live by the ocean and someday it's going to happen. I don't know how. That's not my job. The question is, that's what I really, really want. I want to wake up and see the ocean and every morning go out and put my feet in the sand. I don't know how that's going to look, but the universe will figure it out. And that's where I want people to look at, is listen. You don't miss that calling, because the worst thing you'll ever say is, gee, I wish I would have gone backpacking through Europe. I wish I would have taken that trip on the sailboat. I wish, instead of I did. And so my point is always, I don't care whether you're however long you have, listen to that inner voice. Take the time and giggle like you're 4 years old and going, okay, when nobody's watching, like Christmas morning, make it happen. It's all up to you.
Beautiful. Thank you. Listeners, as we get ready to go to our next commercial break, I want to give you and encourage you to use these 2 minutes to do exactly that, to listen. What is it you really, really want? And then what is a step you can take towards that? And baby steps count. So what is it that you really want when you listen to your heart of hearts? And what is a step you can take today towards that? We'll look forward to talking to you in just 2 minutes.
Follow us on Twitter at VoiceAmericaTRN. Get the lowdown on guests, new shows, and your favorites. That's VoiceAmericaTRN. Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
There's a new force to be reckoned with in talk radio. It's not just talk radio. Hosted by LaTanya Jr. and co-host Tina Wynn and Tony Brown. Not Just Talk Radio is like a superhero, inspiring, problem-solving, and informing. Packed with action-provoking conversations from news, movements, and social and politics issues. This program is about a wide range of voices and fresh points of view from experts, celebrities, and you, the listener. Not Just Talk Radio is broadcast live Wednesdays at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, 8 a.m. Pacific on the Voice America Influencers Channel.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at SpeakerTalentSearch.com. That's SpeakerTalentSearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
Become a member of VoiceAmerica.com. It's easy, and best of all, it's free. Start out by going to our homepage or any of our channels and click Register at the top. Once you've created an account and signed in, you can create your own custom library, opt into our newsletter, search by show, host, guest, or topic of interest, or browse millions of hours of content across all of our Voice America radio channels. Membership gets you more. Visit VoiceAmerica.com today to get started and tailor the listening experience to your taste.
We don't follow, we lead. Join us, the Voice America Influencers Channel.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-866-472-5795. That's 1-866-472-5795. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes. Behind the scenes, we're also taking those 2 minutes with you, just pausing and being still and listening and breathing. And there's something powerful when we all come together in breath and purpose and intention. And I hope that you felt that today as we connected in, and you feel that as we are bringing our time together to a close, that we are connecting in heartbeat to heartbeat, breath to breath, lifting up, breathing in, and supporting each and every one of you just as we feel your support with us. And this program, this show, has been created for you with the intention of us walking beside each other and making choices, building the practice to live on purpose and with great purpose, being empowered to do that. And I think that's important when we're looking at thriving. So today, I want you to take a couple minutes after the end of the show and just breathe, process what's being spoken under your heart and into your spirit as you get ready to go back out into the world. This has been a sacred and special time of connection together, so needed, especially when around us things are accelerating and moving and changing and shifting, and sometimes they're shifting and changing inside us too. It's so important to build the practice of stopping, pausing, breathing, and listening. So thank you for taking time out of your day to connect in with us. And I wanted to make sure I gave you the opportunity to know how to connect further with Jill and Dr. Cheryl. Just as I promised in the beginning, we'd let you know how to connect in with them. So Jill, I'd love for you to share how people can follow you and connect in with you.
Sure. If anybody wants to just check out the different programs that I have or just learn about me and where I'm coming from, you can go to, I'm going to spell it out for you, but it's shore.b/Midlife Mojo, which is S as in Sam, HOR .B as in boy, Y/Midlife Mojo. And right there, they'll give you everything you need to know to connect with me, and I look forward to it.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate it. And then did you have a piece of advice or a tip or a reminder you wanted to share with us as we get ready to go back out into the world?
Yeah, just real quick, it was basically what you were just saying about connection, and finding yourself a tribe of like-minded midlife women going through the same struggles you are. We as women need to feel connected, so whether it's online, I have a wonderful private Facebook group called The Right Side of 45, or something that you find locally that's a good fit for you, but just find your people and connect.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate it. And then Dr. Cheryl, how can people follow and connect in with you?
I have quite a few things that are online from different websites. Type my name into Google and you'll find an array of things, or drcherylLentz.com, whatever works best for them.
Okay, perfect. And they can follow you extensively. So thank you for sharing. And what piece of advice or tip was laid on your heart that you wanted to remind us as we get ready to go back out into the world?
Let me offer the concept of refractive thinking. Most people think that thinking is either in or out of the box. Refractive thinking gives you that next option of what's next, what if, why not. And that's part of looking at what do you really, really want and what's next, and then just take an action to get there.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Listeners, what's been placed on your heart? What is that next step or that what you needed and you have received during our time together that you can have become part of your life? Incorporate that in. That's part of that processing and breathing on a cellular level that can help you bring that forward into your life. What is it that you really want and are willing to be part of bringing forward? What is it that you really need and are willing to receive? You have choice in all of this. And that's part of your greatest power, is that choice and choosing what you will believe, choosing what you're willing to lean into, choosing what you're willing to bring forward. Because each of you are beautifully and wonderfully and powerfully made on purpose and for a purpose. And I believe, in fact, for such a time as now, that you are needed exactly as you are, exactly in the way that you're gifted. And one of the biggest gifts you can bring in the world is willing to be fully who you are. We've talked about being today. Are you willing to be fully who you are? Bringing forward all of your heart's desire. Are you willing to lean into that? Because I believe what the world needs is actually more of you. That you're willing to share more of how you're made. Tap into what it is that you love. What it is that lifts your spirits, that makes your heart sing. What is that next thing that you are wanting to step into and bring forward and lean into? What is it, if you had a chance to look back at life, you would do, you would be able to do where you aren't able to live without regrets? Meaning, what is that one thing or those couple things that someday I wish, someday I want? How can you bring that someday forward to today? What is a step you can take that will bring forward those things that matter most to you, those things that you want to see in the world? What are some steps you can take to be more of who you are and bring forward those things that matter most to you? That wherever you go, or whatever you do, may you choose and be willing to bloom. Share your gifts. Bloom where you're planted and shine out into the world. Have a beautiful week. Keep sharing, keep shining, and we'll look forward to talking to you next time.
Thank you for joining us this week for Empowering Women, Transforming Lives. Please tune in again for another edition with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter, next Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 11 a.m. Pacific, on the Voice America Influencers channel. And join us for a replay of the show every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. Pacific, on the Voice America Empowerment channel. Have a beautiful week, and may you always bloom where you're planted and shine.